One series left today in the Heroes Global Championship, and both of the teams need this win. Hey guys, I'm Gillyweed here with Dreadnought and Dread. After our last series, Tempo Storm looks unbeatable.
They very much do. Everything that they do just seems to be, you know, a level up from everybody else in North America. No surprise with how dominant they've been in the past, you know, being the #1 team in North America for a long while. But to be able to continue the trend here is very, you know, exciting to be able to see.
And now with that victory, we can take a look at the standings and see where Tempo Storm sit high on the throne that is HGC North America 5-0. And as we mentioned before, they do have another series this weekend that if they can win that series, they will be going to the Western Clash. Meanwhile, as we move on down, we're going to be looking at Team Naventic and Superstars. Superstars is ahead when it comes to wins. They have secured 2. Team Naventic still looking for that second win. But how do you think this series between these two teams will fare?
I do feel like Naventic has slowly been gaining a little bit of traction as a group of players, and I think that's something to really be looking out for with them. Superstars has kind of plateaued a little bit, you know, remaining, I guess, where we projected this group of players to be able to end up. So even though the standings are against Naventic, I do think I give them the upper hand in the series.
I have to say, I'm kind of leaning towards Superstars here, especially with the new meta. But let's take a look at, once again, at our schedule. Actually, we're going to move right on into the matchup. So here it is, Superstars versus Team Naventic.
And I really like them, and Goku is a really strong player. I think that's the star of their team. And they do have a little weird strats, but they have an unconventional playstyle.
Naventic, I would say, is basically the MVP Black of North America. Of course, lacking a bit in mechanically skills, but they're extremely aggressive, extremely always looking for that fight, especially if it's in their advantage, and if they're ahead, they'll always take it home and never back down.
Their drops are good, but mechanically, I don't feel like they're the best team. But they have like smart players. That's what I can say.
Team Naventic has some of the best talent and mechanical players in North America, but their synergy and cohesion is what we're looking at in regards to beating them.
Hosties, we used to be on Vox, and he was one of the, I think he was one of the standouts on Vox for sure. And Faye, I've never been a fan of her play style, but it works for her. I've never been a fan of, like, she takes crazy talents and stuff like that. That's not, I'm standard, you know, min-max.
Team Naventic, that's actually my favorite team NA. I love how they play. They're the most similar to the Koreans, I'd say. They love their drafts. They play really aggressive, and in my opinion, the best mechanical team. So if we beat them, that would make my year.
Superstars versus Team Naventic, some of the old guard of North America going up head-to-head. And as we mentioned, this is such an important match for both of them. They both desperately need this win, and pretty much wins just here on out if they want to be able to claim one of those spots going into Katowice and the Western Clash. But Superstars, I think the fact that we're on a new meta is going to be really good for them. The fact that they may have more of a potential of being able to throw off Naventic more so than maybe on the previous patch.
I agree. Anytime a patch hits, it's always better for, you know, especially against Tempo Storm, like it's always better for the lower team here. This one's debatable on, you know, where it comes to overall skill level overall, but I think the players of Superstars and, you know, the practice, the creativity they have in the drafts, that is the reason they have a huge selling point with this new patch.
And that all does come down to the Battleground. So let's check in with the Battleground pool for HGC and see where the first game will take place. Looking at bans, Superstars have banned Sky Temple and Naventic banned Warhead Junction. Superstars have the first pick, and they have chosen Towers of Doom. Towers of Doom didn't go extremely well for Superstars when they played versus Gale Force, but Gale Force has such a unique style. Even, I guess it is one that we see from Tempo Storm too, but Superstars, or Gale Force does it to the extreme.
Yes, yeah, they overcommit to it, I guess, if you will. Whereas Tempo's like, yeah, you know, I don't mind a Dahaka here, a false set there.
Exactly.
Gale Force is like, we need this, and we need it now. So we'll see, you know, kind of how this plays out here. Naventic here is going to be the first pick in first ban. I do expect Tassa to remain in the same area. Naventic, though, has the opportunity to possibly, you know, if Valera, if she's going to show, I feel like it's going to be them just because it fits their playstyle so well, but we'll see, how this plays out here. Malf is going to be banned out. Is the Tacet banned on the side of Superstars?
Something that we can see in the keys to the series, as well as something that we have brought up, is how important the early game is to both of these teams. To Team Naventic, they want the early game because they have been enjoying getting early game kills with things like Tracer, things like Jaina. And it's important to them too because they start to get behind and then they are less focused on being able to split soak and come back. For Superstars, their decision-making can be a thing of beauty when they're ahead, but when they get behind, things start to look different for them as maybe they're just too passive, too scared to make the wrong decision and end up not really making them. So both of these teams have to be focused here in this draft for the early game.
Yeah, the Zeratul pickup now for Naventic. We have seen them run Zeratul on Towers of Doom. It did go a little bit lower in the draft. Ragnaros was let up, so already seeing adjustments for Naventic. But Tychus and Rhaegar are going to be the pickup for Superstars out of that Malfurion ban on the side of Naventic. Makes them fearful for the support. So is this a Ragnaros Brightwing rotation? Or does Naventic really not care? Because last week against Freedom, Naventic ended up first picking Ragnaros, then going Zeratul Brightwing in the next rotation, but opening with the Zeratul. They can still, have the exact same heroes, but instead we see them mixing things up, going towards the Varian, who is, climbing his way in popularity.
And especially with Team Naventic too, we started out HGC with Naventic, their warrior player B-Kid not always being on the same page for Naventic, sometimes diving too far deep with Diablo, with ETC. But ever since Team Naventic have found Varian as their favorite warrior, he is one of the top picks for them. And they're just a different team almost in being able to see how they play with Varian. So high focus on making sure they get him. They have him plus Zeratul and Falstad, so some great damage dealers, a little bit of globals, and a little bit of pick potential that we always see from Naventic.
And then being able to pick up that, Falstad as well to be able to get the globals when it comes to the map. I love that choice. Typically, we see Naventic being one of the higher teams to prioritize Li Ming into a Zeratul. Overall value has been higher for them by a small margin over all the other teams. So I actually love to see this transition of Naventic's draft already so far into it with their very first 3 picks, showing adjustments to the meta now. Superstars, though, they have, very general picks overall. Nothing crazy when it comes to the map. It looks like they're going to ban out the Brightwing, again, because Malfurion's gone, and they managed to be able to pick up the Rhaegar themselves.
Yeah, I think that is a great adjustment to make to see how they have been able to use Naventic's ban a little bit against Naventic, and the fact that Naventic wasn't willing to give up Varian or Falstad through that last rotation. Now, Naventic maybe looking at a warrior ban for Srey.
Ragnaros is still up,
Ragnaros
so that
is up
could be
too,
something
or
too.
Another global. If they just want to say Goku can't be on Dahaka, he's a great Dahaka player as well.
I think that's a tough spot to be in. I don't know whether or not I like the idea of Ragnaros over the Dahaka when it comes to the bans here. Like, my initial thought is going to be Ragnaros. He's so strong overall, but again, denying that global while Naventic has the global of their own is probably more valuable, and they seem to agree there. They're in fact going to be able to ban that out, leaving the Ragnaros as an opportunity here for Superstars.
This still leaves Tracer up for Naventic too, and they did run Tracer and Zeratul together on Towers of Doom versus Freedom. They had control of that game, a lot of the game, especially the mid and late, until Death Metal came in for Zugrug and changed that up. Ragnaros and Medivh are the choices for Superstars now. Medivh will help out against a lot of that burst if that's the way that Naventic wants to go, because he has the Force of Will and other things like reabsorption later on.
Yeah, this is... I like what you were talking about with the Tracer pick that Naventic had moved into before. And then they won't have the Brightwing available, though, if they do go that route. The double pick comp into the Medivh I can see working out really, really well, or exact opposite, being punished relatively easy. So maybe that Medivh pickup on the side of Superstars is kind of, leaving up that question, hey, what do you want to do? We also have to note that a Warrior hasn't been picked up. Medivh has been selected. We're on Towers of the Doom, and we're looking at Superstars. Is that the Stitches?
Stitches was buffed in this patch. A little extra help. Maybe that's where we want to go with it. We'll have to see. Oh, the Dine and Dash.
The Dine and Dash?
That's the official name of that combo.
All right, we're going with the Dine and Dash. There's going to be the Li Ming pickup here again for Naventic. No surprise they moved that direction. And Karazim went the support. Stitches. It's got to be. Right? You don't...
I think they have run Medivh without Stitches here before.
They have. They very much have. But looking at the draft they've already got, there's no Warrior pick here that I look at and I'm like overly sold on to be like to turn this draft around. There's a lot of great tools on the side of Naventic, just an insane amount of CC. The Medivh always has the option to be able to turn it around here. But it is one of the few drafts where I almost want Superstars to move that direction again, just because of how many great, powerful resources they give up early in the draft. They didn't really make up for it in their back half rotation.
But what about Diablo as a counter or a follow-up for Leyline, maybe?
I think Diablo might be a really good one for the follow-up into Leyline. That is something I think I would like to see. If not, I would like to move into, just have them go with the Stitches. They're going with ETC. I definitely would have preferred the Diablo over the ETC. We've seen a lot of ETC. Sray has played a lot of stage dive. Sray has been, he was the real reason kind of stage dive existed even when it wasn't popular. He was picking on maps like Sky Temple, even on towers and everything of the like. And so now having that another global here for Towers of Doom, it doesn't feel that impactful. I want to see a mosh pit. I'd rather mosh pit over seeing the stage dive. That being said, ETC, that mosh pit, again, doesn't outweigh what I would like to see with the Diablo with the Leyline Seal into APOC, the APOC Sophia Smash combo. There's a lot of really cool tools there. And Diablo's just, I think, a little underestimated at times when looking at, his overall results compared to ETC's.
He does have a very high win rate.
And ETC's is slowly just, going down.
I think it's steadily been underneath 50 this entire time. Before we get into this game, we have to talk about the idea of Big Impact versus Faye, the two range damage dealers for these teams. And when we're looking at them, neither has picked Vala yet, but both have been big Vala players throughout HGC so far. Vala's for Faye has been a little more successful, 62.5% win rate there and 9.38 KDA on Vala, getting about 3.8 kills per game. But Biggie still has a 7.14 KDA, and another really, really good one for Biggie too. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on these two playmakers for these teams of range damage dealers and what they can do with their respective picks.
Yeah, they're, both of them are pretty heavy carries for their teams. When they do well, these players are the ones setting up those plays for the team. Faye, though, with that 95% kill participation there, oh so impressive. I love kill participation. Any player with very high, it shows, the focus and overall game knowledge versus just, I can get that micro, get the outplay, making sure they're always in the right spot at the right time. It's really awesome to see that, and that she's doing so well in that department.
Yeah, it's especially fantastic because Faye has been around the Heroes professional North American scene for as long as it goes. Another one of those players. Biggie coming in a little bit later, but really making a name for himself on teams like Panda Global, and then finally falling in. He is the longest standing member of Naventic besides the brothers themselves. But we are ready for this game number 1 between Naventic and Superstars, so we'll see you on the Towers of Doom.
On the Towers of Doom is where we're going to be, and on the blue side, in fact, is Superstars. Iacona on the Rhaegar. Stray will be playing the ETC. Faye is going to be on her Tychus. Goku playing the Ragnaros, and Hosty will be on the Medivh.
And their opponents in the red are Team Naventic. Kenma will be playing Karazim. B-Kid once again will be playing Varian. Playing Falstad will be Zuna, carry for the team. Another carry, Big Impact, playing Li Ming. And finally, Tomster will be showing off his Zeratul skills.
Tomster on Zeratul over Zuna. Zuna typically plays ranged unless there's a Zeratul. When there's a Zeratul involved, Zuna is most likely going to be on that there. So the fact that he's already, kind of moving on to the Falstad, interesting choice. It aligns more with their overarching roles, but it very much feels like Zuna typically tries to pick whatever he feels he can carry the most on.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they've allowed that to go over to Tomster, I'm really looking forward to the Zeratul play now.
Yeah, I am as well, especially since this is a situation where we have even seen them switch. I've seen Tomster be able to play Li Ming. They could maybe put Biggie on Falstad, but that won't be the case. And that's even something that we have noted before for Naventic when we see Zuna on something like Zarya as being willing to step more into that carry through being able to be flexible. And he is a flexible player. He has probably played some of the most heroes, unique heroes for his team so far throughout HGC.
Yeah, and now, for now, we see the laning phase here. Superstars has the upper hand when it comes to the wave clear. Zeratul has tried to threaten towards the top lane, but very patient play coming out of, Goku there. Tomster gets revealed, throws out the bomb, but we're just looking to, overall for the first shrine phase there. Kenma's in a tough spot. He's got dash. We do see that Zuna, though, has moved towards auto attack build, moving with the Seasoned Marksman at 1. And that is going to force him to be a little bit more of a split pusher. Not one thing that I would say when I think of Zuna as a player, split pusher is about near the bottom.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that it can go one way or the other. I always have a lot of high praise for Zuna as a player overall. I think when he's on point, he's one of the best we have here in North America. But he does struggle on the macro game. No matter how smart of a player he can be at times, I do think that would be, if he has a weakness, I think it's there. And not being there for the fight, you know, so we'll see if that affects Naventic's playstyle here in this game.
What an early sapper pickup for Superstars, even before this first altar phase. Now, both teams have traded out on the top altars. Naventic, because Superstars went for those bottom sappers, were in a better position in the bottom altar, but Superstars came in just in time with a grenade to stall out. Stray might be in trouble, though. Tomster's moving in, does not go for attacking and body blocking. So now the rest of Superstars are still filing in. Karzim has stopped Ragnaros for as long as they can, but Superstars are in a good position now, grabbing sappers, forcing back the members of Naventic, and maybe able to pick up 2 out of the 3 altars in the space.
Yeah, the fact that Li Ming was body blocked there, a big impact, was not in a position to be able to make one of the missiles hit Iacona. In fact, Superstars will be able to pick up these first few, but overall, no experience advantage gained on the inside. Warbringer is going to bring the pain. Medivh Shield's going to be there with Force of Will. Either way, though, that is going to be ETC and Sray. They're falling here for the team, so a small silver lining now for Naventic. Other adjustments in the build, we see the air ally taken at level 4 there for Karzim, considering that it's going to be able to get the reveal into the area. And, you know, he can dash. Oh, man, that's an interesting choice, though.
Yeah, Vision Ward more than having the block charges, which you would think would be something that Naventic would want versus Superstar's composition, specifically the Tychus.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out here for them. It's not the first time I've seen Air Ally. There's been a couple of times in non-North American games where it will pop up here and there. Overall, though, everything else seems to be, you know, a standard here in the North American builds, except Iacona at 4 made a small adjustment into his build. It's not unheard of, but going with the Spirit Walker's Grace, typically that's paired with the 13 tidal waves to be able to get more Qs out. So what that does for Rhaegar with this type of build that he's going for is, and now, okay, there's going to be Hosey falling down there. But what it does for the Rhaegar is early game, he doesn't have as much sustain overall. His rotations are going to be the same. But the biggest thing is once 13 hits, rather than going with the value you get out of the tidal waves, the cooldown onto your Q, you actually make up for that mana here. So he's going to be more heal focused, but lower on spells everywhere else because, again, his overall mana regen has been crippled unless it's using Q.
And Towers of Doom is one of those battlegrounds where you can make those small adjustments toward the
I personally love this build. When the rework onto Rhaegar, it's still probably my favorite. The level 1 situational across the board, but a staple, I guess, level 4. I've always felt like this is a huge one, especially post 13. If you're not going to go Earthshield, I love this build.
Another parry-focused build once again for Varian with B-Kid now. Checking out Goku, does have a Warbringer charge on, but a portal is available if needed. It's not even going to be used. Goku is starting to swivel or turn around and get a kill on to Zeratul. So what started out as Team Naventic trying to get a pick onto Ragnaros, Goku turns it around, gets a kill. There's no Zeratul for a few more seconds. Big impact from the side, gets a big orb to stop the channeling from Iacona, and he is fairly low.
Oh, but Kenma here is on the retreat. Will be able to get the dash out there. They confirm the kill now onto the Tychus. Naventic aggressive forward. Iacona lies victim as well. So a moment where Superstars had the upper hand. The failure to be able to get the channel and the poke coming out from Naventic will allow them now to have a 2-man advantage here and transition in towards these shots. Experience going in their favor as well. You know, it looked like after that first pick that Superstars was really going to be in control. Oh my goodness, that power slide there, they're going to be right on out the gates.
Posty is playing with fire, having Master's Touch and going in.
With fire. Molten Core.
So that'll get a delay long enough for all of the members of Superstars to get back in. And this has been very back and forth. Naventic did not try to go for the rushed cap, instead allowed people to go back and tap well, clear back up. But now that has given similar timing for Superstars to come back. And now with their full health bars, they take down Varian. They have portals and shields for a long time still, and there's no Molten Core on the side of Naventic to try to similarly stall the same way. They have to try to block what they can from Li Ming shots, and in doing so, Superstars picks up another altar.
One thing with Medivh specifically that people kind of don't think about is until 13's hit, you have to be very, very obviously careful about your portals, but more than anything, is a portal used to save one person typically until 13's hit is going to be worse than a portal used to transfer 4 people to help him. And so we already saw one situation where it almost cost Superstars a member. And moving forward, if we see another skirmish happen before that point, I would keep track of the portals on the side of Hosty, because he is very much using them to save people, but in some scenarios it might be enough to be able to cost them a member. But there is going to be a portal on out. Naventic look to be able to invade onto this camp. Superstars pick it up in retreat. 10 is going to be picked up for Superstars before Naventic.
Yeah, we'll see which heroic abilities they want to go for. We've seen Superstars run Bloodlust before.
They've ran about a little bit of everything.
I think, yeah, they have run a little bit of everything. Probably still going to be Leyline Seal for Medivh, especially to try to counter whatever is going to happen on the other side of Team Naventic with Void Prison. Still in consideration is Iacona of Bloodlust or Ancestral Healing, and similarly, Srey is holding on to his heroic ability, but that is a very common thing you'll see professional ETC players do.
Yeah, his is one of the easiest to be able to hold. Like, Iacona does it because Iacona, you know, is just min-maxing the value in an ideal world. That is technically, strategically, the best way to be able to play it out. But ETC specifically, because the viability of his heroics are near 50-50-ish, it makes it's a far better play there for the ETC than the Rhaegar, but we'll see where Iacona goes. The Sapper's getting cleared out on top. Heroics on the other side.
Kinma's still waiting on 7-sided strike.
Yeah,
versus Palm.
And then Li Ming is holding to be able to see where ETC goes. If it's Mosh, he'll go Wave of Force.
A game of heroic abilities chicken.
Oh yeah, who's gonna you know give in first here is the real question. I'm guessing it's going to be Superstars.
We'll find out very soon because there are 2 altars on the board in play. Stage dive is big. Disintegrate for Li Ming. Still no, both the supports still wondering what that's going to be like. As we're looking, Master's Touch less than halfway done in stack, so keep an eye on Hosty and make sure that he does not go down. That's the key for Superstars now.
Oh man, that was a lot of cooldowns to buy time just to be able to get one delay. ETC channels on mid is going to be able to confirm that capture there. There's going to be 1 value out of the stage dive so far in this game as he gets clear on mid with that Echo Pedal. Odin's dropped. Portal has been used. Rhaegar is going to get taunted out. The combo from Li Ming, the shield to be able to save him. So Furious Smash late hits a lot of people. Goku's in a tough spot too. And there's the Leyline Seal. And 2 people go down now for Naventic. The trade for now is going to be 1-2 in favor of Superstars. B-Kid is on full retreat. Portal's been laid, and it doesn't look like Varian is going to be the hero who makes it out as the power slide confirms. And now Goku's going to be able to start this channel.
That was such value from an Empower Sulfuris to turn around, knew he could not get out, could not run, turns around, waits for Leyline Seal to drop, hits 2 heroes, gets the increased healing off of it, saves his own life, and gets 2 kills off of the Leyline Seal, a 3rd as Naventic tries to run away. This is the Superstars, the synergy that we're used to seeing when they're ahead in the game.
Yeah, and Naventic here, just no, proper answers. They didn't even give Void nor Palm off during that duration of time. Disintegrate was the choice now for the Li Ming, again, because Stage Dive came into play. I was going to say, when looking at the Stage Dive for Superstars, I wanted to see how many times it really does gain value, because we've seen more often than not, out of Srey specifically, it is Stage Dive. And a lot of the times, it's been more of like a stage flop. He joins the fight, yes, but it's not even that he's missing the heroic, it just doesn't have an impact. He just gets a little side soak and then joins the fight, and that's about the end of it. So we did see 1 channel there. Oh, you hold on a moment. Hosty's in a bad spot. Ends up using Leyline Seal on top of this portal. He's going to be falling down. Void is now going to be there. Thompson is looking towards Srey. Stage dive out. Faye ends up falling. Srey does manage to survive with his life, but Iacona is a sad puppy right now, as he ends up going down to Naventic here for a 3-for-0 trade. And now they have a small window to be able to capitalize.
Yeah, he gave puppy dog eyes, but Big Impact was having none of it with all those resets. 3 quick kills in succession for Team Naventic, and they turn this game right back around, trying to get a bell tower. They can then retreat and take away the one that Superstars stole from them. But although Naventic do have won that fight, they did use a couple of abilities for it and are still even in bell towers as altars are spawning. So they still have a way back to climb, but that's the first step.
Yeah, that was very well done for them. But again, what I was saying is just how many times we see the value at a stage dive. We've seen 1. We've seen 2 now after actually the stage dive out. We'll see how many more we end up getting out of him. Portal is now laid. Hosty looking to scare. Zuna has remained in the bottom half of the map to be able to get that bell tower. Now 5 in favor of Naventic. Ragnar starting the channel in the top right. Zeratul likewise in the top, or excuse me, both teams going to just capture their respective. Nobody's going to contest. So 5 shots for Naventic against Superstars, and Superstars managed to confirm 3.
Superstars still ahead in core health and not really wanting to go in for the gauge, even though they did lose that 1 extra health. Still fine with the trade overall. Goku might be the one who is in trouble, but we did not get to mention in that fight, Hosty going down, he did reset his Master's Touch stack, so he's still just now starting to get stacks built back up into there.
All right, so now there's the fight, the pressure on bottom. Speaking of the Master's Touch, it's the fact that we're 12 minutes in might really hurt Superstars in their team fight. Sulfurous Smash is going to be, or excuse me, not Sulfurous Smash, but in fact, Molten Core is going to be used here. Stage Dive as well.
There's the Sulfurous Smash. Nope, never mind. That was just the Explosive Rune.
Naventic's going to be able to back right on out of this fight.
Oh, no, it did go down. It was just a delayed cooldown. So 16 is here. Superstars now can try to look for a fight, but using heroic abilities in that time. Team Naventic probably are not going to let them have that at all. Just want to get 16 of their own. Prepare for the next alter phase, which is that breaking point for a lot of teams, especially if one side can pick up a bell tower in that amount of time.
Yeah, and there's going to be straight power sliding out. Tough moment for a second there. 16 is available for both sides. This is it. We've got the 3 shrines. We are yet to be able to see, that full 5 versus 5 skirmish, minus the moment Superstars took the lead very early on. We'll see it again here as the shrines go up. So ETC is looking at posture around that top left. Again, he does have the stage dive to be able to join later. Zuna looks like he's going to be doing the same there on the fall side in the top right. So bottom is the focus here for these teams.
Both teams starting the channels. Looking for poke, trying to get a better positioning around this altar for when their globals come in. ETC hasn't stage dove in just yet, but there he will go. Goku is along with him. Void Prison hits a couple of members in the back, but Sulfurous Smash eliminates Zeratul at the start of this fight. Not a good way to start the fight for Team Naventic. Leyline Seal catches 3 of the members. Gust has to be used, as well as Palm from both the brothers Zuna and Kenma. Kenma not even going to make it out with a great living meteor just in time to get another kill for Superstars, and that will be another altar for Superstars.
Yeah, a good taunt there from BK though onto Hosty. He's going to be able to shield himself. Reabsorption is going to reabsorb a little bit of his HP straight with the power slide. The Q follow-up from Goku, asking you how 9% of your max HP is feeling right about now. And they're going to be able to move right on over to boss here, as they have had full control over this match here. Anytime it's a full 5 versus 5, whether that be communication or just raw outplay here, Superstars is looking good.
It is a favorite battleground of theirs, but they are playing it very, very well, as you said. They've got sappers in the bottom. They can move back and try to get the next sappers. Naventic trying to stop this push from happening. They don't want to lose the bell tower, but they definitely don't want to lose it when there are still sappers that are available, because then shots could be escorted in. And
so one thing to note here with Naventic, we've always known they're a very momentum-based team, but I very much seeing Tomster play the Zeratul, and the fact that, again, we see an auto attack build fall stat coming out of Zuna, and how not that it's these players are not capable of doing so. It's just more it doesn't fit the history that we know of the personalities and playstyles of Naventic here. I can't help but feel like this hurts. This is going to hurt their mentality severely if they do not manage to do, go a little bit better into this game. Again, purely on the fact that Zuna's really not joined the fights, minus just getting a gust. And if he doesn't feel impactful into his games, I know mentally that will affect him and the entire team in a negative manner here, especially with stacked heroics like the Gust into the palm. Those are things to always look out for, especially just with Naventic over all the teams in North America.
But this is a nice situation for Naventic. They save their bell tower bottom. They don't have to worry about sappers for another round yet. And there's only 1 altar in bottom, so they don't have to try to play the where is Superstars showing up game, because we have to take all of the altars. They're looking once again to get the better setup and positioning. Tomster has been revealed, so we'll have to go back and try again here in a little bit. Falstad's starting to move in. We'll see if he wants to go for an aggressive gust on some of the members, but here comes the stage dive first, Dread.
Yeah, Kenma now is going to have to dodge out. There's going to be the taunt going on to Goku. A lot of damage. Ancestral Healing is going to land. He's going to portal right on out. Portal back in, getting huge value out of that level 7. Sulfura smash. Good teleport coming out from Big Impact. Leyline Seal is going to seal the fate of 1. Kenma is going to be number 2. Void ends up landing though, so 1 pick down. 3-man power slide right on out. A 3-for-1 trade here for Superstars. As they lay down the portal, they're going to be able to confirm 4 shots on the bottom, leaving 5 remaining on the core of Naventic. But look, they're going to move right onto the bell tower. That would be 5, leaving Boss as a lethal play.
Excellent choice, because that bell tower was so low. There's only so much big impact Tomster can do, but they did bring down Rhaegar, so that is a 2 kills, and it's a staggered death.
Okay, so now what this means is actually, it's more importantly than anything, is Boss is not a free win now. With Rhaegar going down at that very last pick, yes, it is realistic for Superstars to make this rotation, and there will be very few people on the side of Naventic, but Zeratul can move in with Poke if they question to be able to pick up that boss, and that Poke would be enough to be able to deny them. They aren't going to make that transition. Safe choice on the side of Superstars, purely, again, without the Rhaegar.
Medivh's trying to deny Li Ming so that Superstars can get these sappers, because if they can get the sappers still on bottom, then once they see all of Naventic trying to stop those from being escorted in, then they could go up. Or even if they have to force Naventic to use Gust, potentially, to stop these sappers. That's another big win too. There's still a possibility for Boss. It's how Superstars play this out from here.
Yeah, the bell tower now converted. Nobody, yeah, the Superstars here very patient in their play. And granted, they can be. It's not that they absolutely needed to force that play style. It's just, you know, they have a lot of options. Which one do they want to move down? Some teams, constant aggression, you know, up in your face. When it works well, it's a very clean win. When it doesn't, maybe a questionable choice here and there. But Superstars here is going to be very calculated. The sappers were given, but 20 is still into their favor. They aren't going to question the boss. They are just going to wait for the next shrines, probably banking on a Leyline Seal play. Honestly, they can get away with that, considering the fact that Leyline Seal itself will be able to buy enough time for 4 seconds there. So if they convert even halfway through, lay down the Medivh cheats, it's very realistic they could even just, you know, kind of, I guess, Medivh cheat their way into a cap.
Well, Superstars have been the ones who have been in control of the fights for the most part too, so that's another thing that they can just be patient and wait out. But Naventic want to try to take away at least 1 bell tower, limiting those shots and making sure that as this altar spawns, even if Superstars gets it now, it is not the end of the game.
Yeah, this
unless
the bottom bell tower, which is going to be given up. Okay, Superstars has a tough spot here. Sray getting cut out. These shots onto bottom. This is lethal if Superstars manages to convert the channel. It looks like, Sray's gonna back out. He'll stage dive in. He's gonna be at full HP when that happens. Naventic here has to play perfectly.
This is important for Naventic at this point. B-Kid starts to rush in, takes some damage. Goku dodges all of Biggie's spells. Once again doing that too. He'll be the one for the taunt. Now stage dive goes down. Submerge has been used too, as has Void Prison in the back. So Goku and Sray are the only ones up in front for a few more seconds. Zuna has it flanked from the side, but Ancestral Healing still connects, and Goku stays alive. Here comes the damage, and a nuke will allow Kenma to use Palm on himself, but Zeratul has been caught off to the side. Tomster, the first one to go down.
Yeah, and there's going to be 1 more nuke there. Drop the zoning potential again. Oh, actually, Zuna not being able to back 2. Faye's going to be able to start the channel. The portal is going to be laid. The shots are going to be not captured there, as they were actually interrupted by Disintegrate. But this is the, you know, Naventic's last stand, if you will, as Zuna is the only one remaining in the mid lane. These are going to be shots going over to Superstars, and they convincingly, 15 kills to 10, 27 to 0 when it comes to core health, are going to be able to take game 1.
Yeah, that all came down to the team fights, yes, but more importantly for Superstars, the fact that they knew exactly how to play out that battleground. Even starting as early as the first Ultra phase, going and getting those sappers early on was huge for them, because it pushed that lane. They got both of the altars and that bottom lane. How many times now have we seen that be the reason that a team wins a game on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, and I think the coordination with the Medivh was far better than what I expected out of Superstars. They did a lot of things very, very right. Hosty got a lot of value on the shields. Their portals to be as aggressive as possible whenever anybody on the side of Naventic was caught out. That was my biggest worry with their draft. I was like, I don't know how they're going to do well with the Medivh, but overall, they did a very good job. Obviously, one of his better maps, but one that I wasn't totally sold on. They weren't no like team expert or anything with it yet, but very well done from Superstars.
Well, Team Naventic are far from out of it yet. We're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll have game number 2. See you then.
Everything that I do in my life is working towards getting on to the big stage of video gaming.
I don't want to get second place this year. Like, I'm going for first. I won't be happy unless we win.
My name is Andrew Rodriguez, and I go to University of Texas at Arlington.
Daniel Lee, and I go to University of Connecticut.
My name is David Young, and I go to school at University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
My name is Michael Udall, and I go to ASU.
Heroes of the Dorm is an amateur tournament focused on college teams, playing not for prize money, but for tuition.
This is my first year competing in Heroes of the Dorm. Gaming at first was just a hobby, but now it's kind of evolved into part of my life.